Harry, this is Lord Potato, and this is what if, well, mostly the 3K special. I know it's about to be 3K.1, or not 3K.1, 3.1K, but, I know I'm a little late, but don't worry about that. The 3.1 will be something else, but don't worry about that. This is the 3K, and this is what if five menaces were thrown into RWBY, meaning just Ruby, but yeah, or Ruby, whatever. But I know you can't really see the letters and all that. The original is this one, but I used the other one because fuck it, why not? But yeah, so these are the five menaces, basically in Virgil, Amadra, Doflamingo, Aizen, and Majin Park. Well, the original character that I wanted to, well, not really wanted to do, I instead kind of changed it because pretty much, well, he doesn't really have a teenager form, but that's the point. That was Sukuna, and so I decided to just change it to Majin Park. So yeah. And besides, I kind of like Majin Park a lot more than Sukuna. I don't know, just the way he is. Sukuna, on the other hand, is mostly a dickhead half the damn time, but don't worry about that. But these are the five medicines that are going to be thrown into this, and you're wondering, how the fuck is that going to work? Well, let me explain. And I am not that far into watching, well, RWBY, because I was going to rewatch it like 2 days ago, but instead I went to do the Naruto what ifs, but yeah. So, of course, I won't have much time, but whatever. So, let me explain. We go into a black void. Ding! And, of course, five people going through the black void. This is where one has kind of grayish hair and wearing like this dark blue kind of suit. Of course, having a sword right next to him. And, of course, getting prepared just in case he has to fight against anyone, because he doesn't know what the fuck just happened. One time he was just fighting against his twin brother named Dante, and the next moment he is fucking here. Yeah. Of course, there's another one in the kind of darkness. Right now, he was kind of, well, he has dark black hair, very long black hair. Of course, being spiky. Seems to be short a little bit, but yeah. Of course, has red armor that's kind of cracked a little bit. And of course, has reddish eyes. Well, one reddish eye, one purplish eye. Of course, he just wondered why he has the Renegon and the Sharingan both at the same time activated, just like Sasuke. But the only thing he remembers is him fighting against what's it called, Sasuke and Naruto, and then being betrayed by Black Zetsu. This is where he says, for fuck's sake, am I dead or something? But how can I use my fucking abilities? What the hell? This is where we go into another figure. Right now, just walking also. He is wearing basically, well, he's wearing a black outfit with mostly like this black kind of somewhat outfit and all that. Kind of a white kind of like cloak a little bit, but it's not that big, so it kind of only reaches up to his shoulders and all that. Well, mostly elbows. But of course, he seems to be really tall. He has somewhat an eye patch because thanks to these kind of like tights to kind of like cover up his power and all that. He's confused. He has brown hair, and of course, one, well, yellowish eye, well, brownish eye. Of course, he has his sword, his Kyokamatsu, but of course, he is right now just damn confused because the only thing he remembers was being in prison for fucking thousands of years thanks to his immortality with the Hokage. Of course, he is confused how the fuck he got here anyway because he remembers being in prison, then being let out to fight against whatever that one dude is called in the Thousand War. I forgot his goddamn name every single damn time. But yeah, of course he says, "What in the fuck? Huh? Where the fuck am I? Is this some kind of illusion?" Then again, I could always use the Hokage to break out. And somewhere, well, we go into another figure. Right now, just kind of wearing somewhat. Well, if you haven't actually read the latest like chapters in manga or whatever, well, not manga, webtoon, you won't know how he kind of looks like. But of course, we're just gonna explain about his oldish kind of colorless version. But of course, he's right now just wearing what they call these like clothing that are kind of like orange and kind of like this kimono or a little bit, but whatever. Of course, he has whitish hair, has a crown a little bit, and has kind of red wings, like these red demon wings that are on the side of him, but also like this red kind of god wing, the crimson red wing. Of course, well, he is confused because the only thing he remembers, he was fighting against Majin Park, not Majin Park, no, fighting against Morty Gym, and then he's fucking here. Yeah, this is Majin Park, and he's just goddamn confused. His eyes have stars in them, yes, similar to, well, Morty Gym, because if you haven't read the latest webtoon, yes, that's what, you got basically God Prophecy or whatever. Or just call false God Prophecy, but whatever. Of course, then also there's the last one, who's right now in the shadows, kind of just damn confused because the only thing he remembers that he was in prison also, but he was in prison all the way down, and the fact that they didn't really kill him because he's actually a celestial dragon. He's just fucking goddamn confused how he got here. This is Doflamingo. So first one was Madara, well, not Madara. First one was actually, what's it called, Virgil. Then it was Madara, then it was Aizen, then it was Majin Park, and then it was Doflamingo. They all kind of meet up in the middle, and of course, all 5 of them are damn confused about each other. This is where, well, they say, who in the fuck are all of you? This is where they all said at the same time, This is where, well, they all look at each other, and this is where, well, Madara gets ready to kind of just use his abilities because he doesn't actually have his weapons. Aizen has his sword, just in case he has to fight. Virgil gets ready and actually pulling out the Yamato, or also known as the Yamato. But yeah, but for some reason Dante calls it the Yamamoto or whatever the fuck it's called. But yeah, it's just one of the most funniest lines for me. Or whatever, it's called Yamato, whatever. But of course, this is where, well, Doflamingo gets ready to use his actual Conqueror Spirit, or even his just Ito Ito no Mi. And of course, where, well, Majin Park just gets ready and actually using his cross attacks. But of course, before any of them actually attack each other, this is where they hear this kind of slow walking and a bright light happening. This is where, well, they kind of just see, well, a person in a cloak, and right now has a scarf, but at the same time a mask, and a glowing bluish turquoise eye. Of course, this is where, well, this person just sits down on a throne and kind of looks at all 5 of them and says, interesting. So, you will be the 5 chosen to select to go into another world. Think of it like a different dimension from your worlds. But all of you will be kind of together. We'll have to meet up together, but whatever. This is where all of them says, who in the fuck are you? This is where, well, Aizen gets ready to actually use his Hogakyu, and of course, well, not Hogakyu, his what's it called, fuck, I forgot his fucking name of the sword, fuck. Of course, well, Madara gets ready to kind of go into jutsus, and that's where everyone just gets ready to kind of use their abilities, or even just weapons. This is where, well, I say, calm down. I'm just here because I know that all of you were kind of having a shitty life, or being dead, or just being defeated by the main character, or mostly the person that you just got your ass kicked. Well, don't worry about it. That's where all of them say, huh? This is where all of them has question marks. And this is where, well, I say, listen here. My name is Dark Raikou. This is where, well, Madara says, for some reason know your name. Why is that? This is where, well, I smile and says, oh, because maybe in another dimension you probably, interesting. It could be that in another dimension you knew me, but in this dimension you still don't know me. Madara said, what are the hell you talking about? Don't worry. All of you were kind of just been thrown into another world. This is where, well, before all of them kind of question anything more further, I explain further that they will be all thrown into a special world where it's monsters, villains, heroes, whatever. The same kind of little, what's it called? The same kind of properties around their own, what's it called, verse, their own anime verse. But of course, it's a little bit different. Of course, this is where they would still have their powers, abilities, and just knowledge about their own abilities and all that stuff. But they have to train into actually gaining their own actual original strength. They will not stay in this godly form or any of their original power, but yeah. They'll be kind of reborn and blah, blah, blah. This is where, well, all of them says, huh? This is where, well, I says, well, good luck there. And good luck in your new world, new life. Goodbye. This is where before any of them gets teleported, this is where someone jumps through. And this is Naruto, well, also known, well, Deadpool. Mostly reincarnation, Naruto, Deadpool, whatever. This is where, well, he comes out of nowhere and says, "Sup, you losers." This is where everyone goes, da 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 da. I go, I feel like you're gonna break the fourth wall. This is where Deadpool says, "Exactly, you dumbasses." This is where he looks at the screen and says, "Exactly." And kind of just says, well, just remember all of you to kind of subscribe the button, and make sure to make this guy to hit 3.1k so he can forget about this whole what if. This is where I look at him and says, hey, shut the fuck up with the fourth wall. This is where I look at the fucking screen and say, shh, ignore Deadpool Naruto. This is where, well, Deadpool Naruto says, hey, don't ignore me. Just because you're some kind of god slayer doesn't mean you gotta ignore me. And this is where, well, I completely just ignored him and kind of uses my ability to kind of shut him up. And this is where he managed to break through, thanks to the fact that he can break through the screen and then come back into the screen and he's back into this world. And that's where I said, God, won't you ever shut up for a second? Deadpool Naruto says, and nope, because if I can remember right, you're the one to actually create me. So, not the point, but it's very interesting. Why didn't you pick me? I am a villain. Ding! This is where you kind of pull on a mustache and just like this black mustache and says, I'm a villain. This is where I look at him and says, no, you're an anti-hero. But what the fuck? You're not going with them, so shut the fuck up. This is where, not Naruto, mostly Deadpool and Naruto says, aw, that's mean. But whatever. Hello there. You must be Madara, Aizen, Virgil, Doflamingo, and Birdwing dude, okay? That's where all of them just go da. That's where Deadpool Naruto explains that before he starts explaining and breaking the fourth wall, I kind of just say, God, whatever. Lights out. This is where, well, I use an ability to light out, and this is where everything goes darkness, except for me and, what's it called, Deadpool and Naruto, still looking at each other while the other 5 are disappear. This is where Deadpool and Naruto says, you didn't let me have any fun there, Dark Right Goo. Of course not. Now, what the fuck do you want? Well, I wanna redo my what if. Are you fine? I'll do a redo on your what if. I actually tell what's it called, Deadpool Naruto. Good. Can I break more of the fourth wall in that what if? Fuck it. You know what? You do that. This is where Deadpool Naruto says, hell yeah! Time for a redo! Haha! Wait, is it gonna be a remaster or redo? This is where I look at him and just says, don't know. Ask. Well, you're asking me, but then again, I am somewhat God balances around your fucking thing, blah blah blah. This is where Deadpool Naruto looks at the screen and says, hey, you, big god of Lord Potato, isn't it? Hey, look at me. This is where a potato appears right in front of him with a crown. And this is where, well, Deadpool says, listen up, potato, with a crown. I want to redo a remaster, or whatever you like to call it, on my what if. This is where, well, I look at him. Then I just kind of pull up some, what's it called, like, the potato just pull up some stuff, like, right in front of him, like these thumbnails. And, of course, it goes all the way from, well, it kind of just looks at all the finished Naruto what-ifs, because there's actually a thumbnail place of, like, all the finished Naruto what-ifs, and some just Naruto what-ifs that were just discontinued. Of course, it worked. Well, the potato then pulls up, well, Deadpool's kind of thumbnail and all that, and says, so you want to redo. This is where Deadpool says, of course. The potato looks at him and just says, well, no promises, but goodbye. This is where, well, the potato just kind of uses an ability just to push Deadpool Naruto away. This is where the potato looks at the figure, basically named Dark Right Goo. Now, of course, they're basically the same person. Yes, the same person as me. It's just I have 2 different persons. But yeah, here's where the potato says, just do whatever the hell you want to. You're basically me, so who gives a shit that much? This is where, well, Dark Right Goo says, of course, I know exactly what to do. This is where, well, both of them just disappear from this darkness. And of course, we go into now the 5 menaces being in RWBY. This is where all of them are right now, well, all waking up. And of course, they're in different places. But we go into a time skip about, well, 16 years now. This is where, well, we go into a store, and of course, the store is being robbed by someone with a white fang. Well, not the white fang, mostly a guy with a top hat and what's it called, cane. But yeah, of course, where someone is hearing music while someone else is kind of just looking at some dust because, well, fucking hell, this is the power ability that he found out about dust or whatever. He's just getting some of it because he's going to use it. Just in his manipulating games. For fuck it, why not? This is where, well, he has what's called bandages on his forehead. And of course, he has 2 hairs that are kind of pointed up to kind of look like demon horns. But really, it's just his hair. This is where, well, he has black hair. And this is where, well, he's also kind of listening to music. This is where, well, it's kind of like somewhat, a little bit metal music, a little bit, but yeah, it's like rock / metal music. Of course, he's listening to that. And of course, well, the robber kind of goes up to this person, even, well, the girl with kind of blackish hair and red hair. And this is where, well, the guy with the sword is trying to say, hey. This is where another one tries to also say hey to this other person. And this is where, well, this person is right now looking at Dustin, not really giving a shit that much. He's like, fuck it. This is where he decides to get 2 dusts, and this is where one is blue and one is kind of red. This is where he turns around and says, huh? This is where he takes off his kind of headphones. And this is where, well, the girl also does the same. This is where, well, the guy say, well, both of those 2 dudes says, you know you're getting robbed, right? This is where, well, this person who is named Margin Park says, huh? Rob? I don't think so. This is where, well, Margin Park throws both of these, like, glass files up in the air. And this is where he fucking kicks the shit out of, well, this person in the face. Right now, smashing him into the window. This is where, well, he just falls through the window, the one guy. And of course, this is where another guy just smashes into a wall thanks to, well, RWBY. This is where RWBY says, huh? What the hell are you? This is where Margin Park says, huh? Well, not Margin Park, his name is Margin. Margin says, huh? What the hell? Whatever. This is where, well, both of them gets ready to fight against the enemies. There's 2 other enemies. This is where one goes after Margin. This is where, well, he tries to swing his sword down on Margin, but Margin just pushes by using his arm to go right in front of the person and then just blocked, well, not blocked, mostly pushed this man's arm away with the sword, basically pushing the sword away. And this is where, well, Margin then fucking uppercuts this man in the face. This is where, well, mostly in the head, or mostly chin, yeah. This is where, well, the guy flies up, and this is where Margin then just turns around and does a back kick, smashing this guy to the wall. This is where, well, RWBY managed to just kind of dodge another hit from this guy with the sword. But of course, this is where, well, she then just kicks this guy into the, well, other window. But yeah, breaks both windows. Well, mostly Margin did the other side, but yeah. Of course, this is where, well, they kind of see the leader, and the leader says, oh, for fuck's sakes. Do I have to do this all by myself? Fuck it. He grabs the fucking, well, case, and of course just runs out the, well, door. Of course, he then kind of sees, well, it's in the street right now. He pulls out his cane, and right now points it at the door. That's where no one comes through the door, but instead they jump both out the window, mostly RWBY and Margin. Margin's right now rushing towards this guy with the top hat. This is where, well, the guy says, you know, if you 2 come any closer, I will blast both of you to hell. That's where RWBY says, I don't think so. This is where she pulls out her scythe. And this is where she kind of expected Margin to actually have a weapon. Margin has just his hands. He just has his hands. This is where, well, Margin says, what are you looking at? This is where, well, he keeps getting quite annoyed because the silver-eyed girl keeps just looking at him like confusedly. This is where Margin says, whatever. This is where he says, divine cross. This is where a cross, like, in the sky appears. Right now, trying to crush the guy. This is where the guy says, what the fuck? This is where RWBY says, huh? This is where Margin right now has his hand glowing with this cross. This is where he also has a cross on his chest, like a necklace and all that. Right now, glowing. This is where, well, Margin kind of holds it onto with his other hand. Margin says, damn it, I missed. Now I have to wait for a couple seconds. This is where, well, the guy sends 2 blast attacks, well, one at Margin, one at RWBY. This is where, well, RWBY just jumps up in the air, dodging the attack. This is where Majin, he sees the attack coming towards him. And this is where, well, Majin says, there's only one way to do this shit. Hope this works. This is where, well, Majin then kind of like dodges to the right. Mostly like dodges to the right, and then uses his leg to try to kick the blast back. Which he knows this is reckless as fuck, but he's hoping he can do it. This is where, well, he tries to kick it like a fucking soccer ball, the blast, a little ball blast. And of course, it works, but of course it stinges his leg. This is where Majin like, fuck. I knew that shit was gonna hurt. This is where the little blast almost hits the guy with that top hat. Or not top hat, mostly bowl hat or whatever the hell it is. This is where the guy was like, what the fuck? Oh, damn, he just kicked it back. This is where he had to dodge a blast from RWBY. And RWBY says, damn, I missed. This is where, well, Majin says, hey, old man, you okay? The old man says, yeah. Well, good. Just keep the robbers knocked out, whatever. I did kick the shit out of them. Whatever. Majin starts running, and of course he decides to, like, jump on, well, a, what's called open door or another. He, like, jumps on top of it, and then jumps on the roof. And of course started rushing after this guy who's climbing up the ladders trying to be fast enough. This is where he says, oh, for fuck's sake, these two won't give up. This is where, what's it called? Majin says, damn it. This is where he sees the wall right in front of him because yes, what's it called? The bull hat dude is on another building that's kind of taller and all that. This is where Majin Park says, I hope this is going to fucking work. Majin is not really confident in his ability because, well, he was reborn. And he's pissed. Because some goddamn god slayer or whatever the hell this guy was, who he can barely remember, reborn him, and now he has to just train for abilities again. Fuck. This is where Majin Park says, damn it. This is where, well, Majin Park was about to, like, try to just run up the fucking building. Just skill that shit by just running up there. This is where RWBY kind of just used her scythe to just blast up to the building on top of it. And this is where the guy, he says, damn. You're clearly skilled with that scythe, but I still don't give a shit. This is where Majin just kind of scales the fucking building by kind of like using his legs by kind of just, well, stepping on the, well, what's it called, brick, and then launching himself up. And this is where he managed to catch the ledge of, well, the wall and all that, and then pull himself up, saying, ugh, god damn it. That scythe is so goddamn annoying and being so useful at the same time. RWBY says, thanks. This is what, well, Majin says, whatever. This is what, well, the guy says, well, you two can't catch me. Goodbye. He gets onto a, well, fucking plane or whatever the hell that is. Helicopter plane, whatever. And of course, this is where, well, Majin says, what the fuck? This is where RWBY says, huh, interesting. This is where, well, the person says, here's this crystal then. This is where Majin kind of grabs that shit, and of course the guy tried to blast out, well, both of them. This is where, well, another blast was coming towards both RWBY and Majin. This is where, well, before both of them can actually get hit by it, because Majin did have the crystal and did push it away, because he knew that that blast hitting the crystal would make an explosion. Of course, this is where a wall of purple, like a purple symbol sign appear right now blocking the attack. This is where, well, the guy says, oh, for fuck's sakes, a huntress. This is where he says, gotta get the fuck out of here. Ah, he gets hit because the huntress does use what's called her magic to kind of hit the plane and all that. And this is where the guy says, hey, there's a huntress here. This is where he decides to take over the piloting the plane. But yeah, this is where, well, the person started using her, well, fire magic. Right now, sending fire magic at, well, RWBY, the huntress, and Majin. Majin, he knows that this shit's annoying again. He realized that he doesn't have a cooldown no more. And this is where, well, he then uses what's it called, his, well, heavenly, what's it called, cross. And this is where, well, half the fire attacks were actually about to hit, what's it called, all of them. And this is where, well, he says heavenly cross shield. This is where he blocks the attacks. Mostly from hitting him and also from hitting the huntress and RWBY. Just because, fuck it. This is where, well, he then just pushes the cross forward, trying to, well, destroy the plane. This is where, well, the fire person tries to use what's called enough firepower to try to break through the cross, which he managed to do because this Majin is still in his kind of teenage years. And yeah, he got reborn, but yeah. This is where he says, son of a bitch! This is where, well, what's it called, huntress managed to kind of use a spell to kind of block the attack. Of course, this is where RWBY starts blasting at the plane. And of course, this is where, well, the guy says, ah, shit, this is bad. This is where, well, The guy says, "We gonna have to go." This is where, well, the what's called fire user does was about to use a dispel to kind of push all them away by kind of discharging what's called fire and doing a heat wave. And this is where, well, she does because, well, the huntress tries to use what's called her magic to try to grab the plane, but of course that discharge destroys her magic. This is where, well, the huntress say, "Ah, shit." Well, mostly not really saying anything. She looks at, well, both Margin and Ruby, and right now Margin's in a different room from Ruby, or mostly they're both together. This is where, well, the huntress is very pissed at, well, both of their recklessness. From the fact that Margin doesn't actually have a weapon, and clearly can easily just be going pat in the back or whatever, because clearly he didn't use any weapons, but it was still reckless of him to fight people with hand-to-hand combat. But of course, she doesn't actually know what's with the cross abilities, because what the fuck, she never actually seen that before. And the cross that Margin Park has is kind of confusing to her. Of course, she's right now scolding both of them and how reckless it was. Of course, where a guy with glasses and white hair kind of says, "So, you're Margin Park and you're Ruby Rose. Interesting. Very interesting." This is where, well, he says, "So, Ruby Rose, that weapon that you have is kind of where from?" This is where she explains her kind of school and all that, because she is kind of like 2 years, well, younger to go into what's called Beacon School or whatever, Academy or whatever. Of course, well, he then looks at Margin Park and says, "What's with that cross and that ability you can use?" This is where, well, Margin Park says that he's somewhat devoted to God, a little bit. Yeah. Margin Park just smiles, just trying to make it seem that he's really devoted to God, but really he's not. He hates God and still hates it in this kind of reborn life. Well, he doesn't say what to call he's devoted to God. Someone he says, "I'm fucking God," just to be arrogant a little bit, just because fuck it. Yes, or the person says, "Really, you're God, and yet you can't really use many abilities." Okay, that fucking hurted. This is where, well, he then looks at both of them and says, "One of you, both of you are actually 16/15. This is where, well, Ruby and Margin looks at each other and says, "Wait, what?" This is where, well, Ruby says, "I thought you were older than that." This is where Margin says, "Nope, not exactly." Yes, Margin was actually born kind of a little bit later from, well, mostly the other four. Because the other four are actually older than Margin. But yeah. You see here, I think Margin, I think when he became God, I think it was 50. And if you want to count as the others, well, becoming somewhat God and all that, like the others kind of becoming strong and all that, being very powerful. I forget how old Doflamingo. I think Doflamingo was actually the youngest, but he's the tallest. I know Virgil's kind of older than half of, well, these people. No, wait, Aizen, I think Aizen would be the oldest, Virgil would be kind of the second oldest, Madara would be the second oldest, and I forgot how old Doflamingo would have been when he just fought against Luffy, and I think Margin Park was, I think in his 30s, or was he in his 50s? I don't remember when he became God. But yeah, of course, yes, Margin's actually going to be similar, the same age as Ruby, but yeah. This is what, well, Ruby says, "Yeah, I didn't expect you to be the same age as me." This is where, well, she then says, "Wait, do you go to this school?" Margin says, what? Sorry, I was in the, what's it called, town getting some stuff. This is where, well, the kind of like leader, or not leader, mostly the principal of Beacon Academy, kind of looks at both of them and says, "You two can actually come to Beacon. I know one of you don't actually go to the academy that Ruby goes mostly, but you can come along, Margin. It seems your skills are pretty powerful, even if you actually train them well." Margin says, yeah, something like that. "And your close combat skills are pretty powerful also. You're able to fight against people with weapons and manage to disarm them and be able to push their weapons away while kneeling them in the face or something." Yeah, Margin Park says, "Yeah, because I'm legit God." Those are the guys that I'm never gonna call you God. Damn. This is where, well, both Ruby and Margin are right now in the next day, kind of, well, on a plane together, or mostly like this plainish, whatever. Of course, Margin is kind of wearing something different from last night. He's mostly wearing what's it called, well, when he was wearing and outside and all that fighting against that one dude, he was basically just wearing this like orange kind of like suit and all that. But now he's just wearing black kind of casual clothes. That's where, well, Margin is kind of looking outside the window saying, I guess I'm a fucking plane. I wonder if I'm gonna be able to find the other fucking idiotic people. It's where, well, Margin is saying, how would I find the others? It's where, well, one person says, interesting. I can't believe I already met you. It's where, well, Margin turns around and sees a person with white hair, and of course, well, not white hair, brown hair, and of course, has a sword right next to him. It's where, well, Ruby is right now talking to her big sister named Blake, but yeah, and this is where Margin looks to his side and says, so, you must be Aizen. This is where the person says, yeah, Sosuke Aizen. Just call me Sosuke, for right now. This is where, well, Margin says, then call me Margin then. So Park is your last name. Interesting. So, it seems that both of us were actually the first ones to meet each other. I wonder what's with the others. Aizen says, with the others, kind of, I don't remember their names at all. This is where, well, Margin says, neither am I. I think the guy with red eye, or with red and purplish eye was named Madara? Something like that. This is what, well, Aizen says, but it's so damn interesting that I'm reborn. This is where Margin says, quick question, how old are you exactly? This is where, well, Aizen says I'm the age of 17. This is where Margin says, are you? I fucking hate that god. Whoever the fuck he is, he's pissing me off. This is where we go into somewhere into a void. Achoo! Am I being called a god? For fuck's sakes, I wonder who the fuck is doing it right now. This is where, well, we go into, well, Margin. Margin is right now pissed. This is where Aizen actually does a quick question about before they were reborn and all that. How old was Margin? Margin explains how he was 30. And he did kind of achieve God form. And this is where, well, Aizen says how old he was and truly achieved God form and being immortality. So I guess the ages were kind of aged a little differently. And so where, well, Margin says, holy shit, you are 1,000 years old? What the fuck is that? Yeah, I was completely different. I'm not even human half the time. I don't even know how I was reborn into human when I was a soul reaper in the beginning. Don't fucking clue. Have no clue. But I still have my soul reaper powers and other things. The Hogaku is the lock for me. I need to train that, for fuck's sakes. It seems the god really did erase a lot of our abilities. This is where, well, sorry, I keep burping. This is where, well, they get to the academy, mostly the beacon and all that. And this is where, well, Aizen then has a quick question. How the hell did Margin actually join when the fact that he's a little bit younger and not 17 to go into beacon? Margin explains a little bit how it works. Aizen says, interesting. Well, I guess this is Beacon Academy or something. I hope we find the others, or whatever. I don't know. That's the way, well, Margin says, yeah. That's the way, well, Aizen walks ahead and forward, and this is where, well, Margin then wants to kind of look, well, he did look outside, and of course out the plane first when there were, well, the Huntress did actually explain all that, about Beacon and all that. And of course, this is where, freaking Margin is looking around first, just because why not? That's alright. Well, Aizen is right now getting towards the academy, the Beacon Academy, just walking further away from Margin. He doesn't really care what Margin does most of the time, but yeah. This is where, well, Ruby says, wait, Blake. This is where Blake is right now, just kind of left Ruby with just her friends running off, but yeah. Yeah, so Ruby says, damn it. This is where, well, Ruby does bump into what's it called, White's or whatever her goddamn name is. Snow, I think so, or I forgot. But yeah, this is where, well, Ruby's like, sorry about that. This is where the girl keeps like putting dust on Ruby's face, and this is where Ruby sneezes, and of course it explodes. This is where Martin kind of turns around and sees, well, a bottle. Well, mostly one bottle kind of rolls to, what's it called? Someone named not Blake. Fuck, I forgot her name. Mostly a girl with black hair and black ears, but yeah, she's kind of like a half animal, but mostly, but yeah. Mostly an animal, human, whatever, slash like that. And of course, he says, this dust is interesting. That's where, well, Martin also does see a dust kind of roll towards him. It was blue. And this is where mostly it was the dust that he needed because he completely forgot about the dust that he was supposed to buy. He said, oh, for fuck's sakes. He just takes the dust and just pockets that shit because for first of all, Martin just doesn't give a shit. You see here, Martin is still going to have the same just fucking personality, and anything he just finds, he's stashing that shit. The reason why he needed the dust is, well, a little bit more complicated for, well, he needed it, but yeah. This is where, well, Ruby is saying, I guess we're having problems. She kind of appeared right next to Martin. Martin says, huh? Oh, you're the same girl named Ruby. This is where Ruby says, yeah, so you're Martin, right? This is where Martin says, yeah, why? This is where, well, Ruby says, so do you even have any friends? This is where Martin says, I wouldn't say friends, I would just say companions. But sure, probably. I have no clue until I find those idiots. This is where, well, Ruby says, huh, very interesting. We go into Eisen, of course, Eisen's walking around the academy, and of course he bumps into a person with long black hair, and of course his eyes are black. This is where, well, they look at each other, and of course, where Eisen's a little bit taller than this person. This is where this person is named Madara. Madara says, I'm guessing you're Eisen. Eisen says, you speak correct. You must be Madara. This is where, well, Madara says, yeah. So, have you found the others? This is where Eisen says, I only found one. And I don't even know where he went, but yeah, he's around here. Who's that? The guy, you remember the guy with kind of crimson wings and all that? Yeah, I found that guy. That's where Madara says, I don't even remember their names. God. This is where, well, we go into someone just walking towards the academy, still wearing, what's it called, dark blue clothes, and a sword right next to him. But this is where he says, so I guess it's a beacon academy. Well, gotta get inside. This is where, well, someone walks next to, well, this person. And this person is named Virgil, but of course the next person that's walking beside him is Doflamingo. And Doflamingo says, interesting. So this is basically an academy. I really didn't even go to an academy before coming here. This is where Virgil says, yeah, I don't even know how you got in here. I managed to do some stuff to get in here. Doflamingo says, I have my ways, my criminal ways. This is where, well, Dante's a little bit taller than, well, mostly both, not Dante, Virgil and Doflamingo are kind of the same height, being at least 5'8", and being age of 17, but yeah. Of course, for right now, but whatever. Since I don't even know how tall was Doflamingo at his teenager years when what's called Roger was executed, I don't actually remember. Well, I'm gonna say that he was around there because he wouldn't be the height of, well, 10. Or how tall was I fucking forgot how tall Doflamingo was, but wait. This is where, well, both just called, well, Doflamingo was the age of 41, and of course, he was, now that I think about it, yes, Doflamingo is like height of 10'10". Well, not 10'10", mostly 10 feet, but of course his age was 41, and when he was in De La Rosa. But of course, what's it called? Martian Park was 52 when he became Supreme God. Fuck it, I'm just gonna keep the ages so I don't confuse myself later on, but whatever. This is where, well, mostly there was always a shown of what's called teenager Martian, but whatever. Now, of course, well, Doflamingo and, well, Virgil are going towards inside of Beacon. And, of course, Ruby is mostly talking towards, well, Margin. Margin is right now kind of ignoring some of her questions and kind of answering some of them. Of course, where Ruby kind of asking why, well, Margin doesn't have a weapon. Margin explains that he doesn't really need a weapon. He mostly needs his hands. But yeah, kind of sounds cheesy, but really he does mostly need his hands, and he's a pretty good martial artist. Yes, martial part is pretty damn good in martial arts, and he's a genius. But yeah, he thinks that being a genius is better than having borrowed power. But yeah, and yes, is Margin going to have borrowed power? Somewhat. Not really, but yeah, he's still just gonna have just genius ability. But yeah, this is where he is kind of just listening to Ruby and what she's talking and all that. And this is where he looks at the dust that he kind of got, and it's mostly blue, and of course it's mostly lightning. Now of course he has an idea for using lightning, but yeah, that'll be in the near future and why he needs it. But yeah, of course this is where Ruby asks him where he got that. This is where Margin says that he bought it, and tries to smile it off and try to lie about it. That's where Ruby kind of believes it because Ruby is kind of a little bit dense, but yeah. Ruby says, that's interesting. So is it lightning or whatever? That's where Margin says, yeah, I think so. That's where, the Academy is right now telling people to go to the announcement, but whatever. Of course, everyone kind of shows up at the announcements, and of course, Ruby kind of talks to not Blade, mostly her older sister. I forgot her goddamn older sister's name, but of course, I think it was Blake and whatever. Of course, her older sister says, so do you make any friends? Ruby says, kinda. Mostly the person that came with me towards the beacon. This is where Blake says, oh wait, weren't you talking about him? His name was Margin, right? She says, yeah. This is where I forgot her name. Is it Blake or I can't remember? She kind of says, so where's he right now? I don't know. This is where Margin kind of sees Madara, Aizen, Virgil, and Doflamingo all together. This is where, Margin gets to them, and this is where, they all kind of find each other and are wondering, will there be any more? Because they don't want to go on a fucking field trip and try to find everyone. But yeah, they just remember there's only 5 of them. But yeah. This is where Margin kind of asks some questions towards Virgil and Doflamingo. He finds out that Doflamingo was actually considered to be the youngest. Yes, he was 41, while Margin was in Supreme God, and he was actually 52. As where Margin seems to be a little bit fucking just pissed from the fact that he just got bullshitted. But yeah, this is where Doflamingo says, well, what you got, suck at that. Ha! Suck on that. This is where, Margin's about to really use his ability to just slam with a car. Doflamingo to the ground. This is where, they're both kind of glaring at each other, just getting angry at each other. But yeah, Margin is right now the height of being, 5'7". Well, not 5'7", 5'6". This is where, Aizen is the height of 5'7", and of course, where, Madara is actually the height of 5'5". But yeah, even though he's 17, he's kind of shorter than the others. But yeah, I think Margin and Madara will kind of not be the equal height, because if I can remember right, Madara was actually the height of 5'7", 5'8". I can't remember. Even though he's like reanimation, whatever. Wait, let me remember what his height. So yeah, of course, Madara, who was the reanimation height or whatever, but just being in general size with the others, he would have been 5'10", and Margin Park was actually 6'1", while Aizen was, I think, 6'2", and of course I remember Virgil's like 6'6". Doflamingo's basically the tallest out of everyone, but yeah. But of course, where all of them are just kind of laughing at Madara because he's the shortest. But yeah, and this is where Madara kind of glares at them with this like Sharingan glare. But yeah, of course, where the white-haired dude is right now announcing, because he is kind of the leader of what's called Beacon and all that, and saying that everyone should find that hope or whatever. Yeah, it is where the 5 menaces were really not actually paying attention. But yeah. Here's where, they're going into mostly a room together with other people. That's where Ruby is kind of like texting some people. Well, mostly not texting people. Mostly writing a letter and all that. And this is where, Virgil's asleep. He doesn't give a shit. He already went to sleep. He just didn't give a shit. He has the sword right next to him just in case he needs to cut any fucker down. Doflamingo, he went to sleep. He just didn't give a shit. He used an arbitration Hawking just in case any fucker wants to try. Yes, it worked. Well, Madara is sleeping with one eye open, but yeah, Aizen's fully asleep and doesn't really care. He already used what's it called? He already unsheathed his sword and kind of sheathed it back, but yeah, and a bunch of people did manage to have a glance at the sword. But mostly he only did this just because of his illusion, but yeah. And of course, Virgil, not Virgil, mostly Margit's not asleep and says, well, all these fuckers are right now asleep. I'm even tired. Well, time to plan out a lot of things. He already thinks in his head, but yeah. But for right now, I'm going to end it off here for part 1 of what if 5 menaces were thrown into RWBY. Or yeah, something like that. But other than that, have a nice potato day, potato night, potato seed, potato, and good night. Now, damn it, I said I was going to make this short, but then again, it's like 45 minutes. Son of a bitch. Whatever, bye.